everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Two Bartys. In this episode we're going to bring you closer to the new Audi A3. So before we start discussing it in more detail, we're going to share with you a few pictures of the new Audi A3 Sportback and possibly a couple of the new saloon as well. So enjoy those, and we'll be back with you right after these pictures. So, the new Audi A3 is the latest generation of the second smallest model really in the Audi range. Now this has been out all the way since about 1996 and has always been closely linked with the Golf, but the new one has taken quite a departure from that sort of bland generic styling, lots of extra tweaks in there. And James here is going to be looking at four key things. James, what are those four key things you're going to be looking at?
Styling, power, technology and competition. So, Audi with their styling, it started with the new A1 and just changed little bits to make it look a bit more fearsome, a bit more edgy. And they've done the same with the Audi A3 and it just works.
Yeah, obviously on the pictures that you've just seen, you've just seen the new front end styling. The picture we used is of the sport model, so that is going to look a little bit more aggressive. But I know exactly what you mean. It's got a sense of purpose to it. The old one was a very nice looking vehicle, but maybe a little bit on the safe side, maybe a little bit on the bland side, but there's really been an injection. And you're absolutely right, looking at the details between that and the A1, the little detail below the bonnet line going into that front grille, and it is a very pronounced grille as well. So what are the things about the styling do you like, James?
Just the little touches in the corners, just little bits that make it look more fearsome, more just edgy, and just looks better. It looks so much better.
Looks so much better. It's quite an athletic looking vehicle, and the Sportback, of course, the 5-door version, always looks a little bit like an Avant, but even with this one, with the treatment to the bumpers at the back, the slimmer rear lights as well, I think it does have its own character and personality, and I for one have always liked the A3 Sportback. So what can you tell us about the power? The one that we're looking at and the one that we've shown with you all is the Sport. Now their names are a little bit odd because they call this the 35 TSI. So what can you tell us about the engine and the power in this particular one?
Well, it has a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine, and it's mid-hybrid, and it's got 148 horsepower and 250 newton meters of torque. It's got a feel to it that it's going to be quick.
Yeah, and I think 148 horsepower based on some of the other vehicles we've been looking at seems quite small because we've been looking at supercars and sports cars. But I think for a mid-range family car, that is more than enough. My Focus currently only has 120 brake horsepower, and that powers us perfectly fine. So 148 horsepower, it's a mild hybrid as well, so it uses that 48 volt integrated starter generator type system to lower those CO2s, give you a little bit more on the MPG, and that is the very first level of hybrid technology there. What about 0 to 62 then? How rapidly can we get off the lights?
0 to 62 takes 8.4 seconds.
Okay, and where permitted, what could we top out at? What is the top speed?
Top speed 139 miles an hour. It doesn't sound a lot, but if you're just using it for daily going to work and that, obviously not now unless you're
not furloughed and not working from home.
Yeah. it's perfect. It's a good amount. So yeah.
And 139 is nearly twice the legal limit on a motorway, so that's more than enough for most people. So quite sprightly on the performance there. 8.4 seconds to 62 miles an hour, which is kind of warm hot hatch territory. Really, it wouldn't shame itself with some great styling too. But what about technology, James? What technology stood out for you?
Well, first of all, the centre screen. It's big like an electric car, but not very too big to make it feel like it covers the whole interior.
Okay.
And the centre dashboard just feels grunt. It feels just
And Audi have always been able to make a very good interior. And I know there's been a lot of talk online and even in Auto Express itself where some of the customers are not too keen on the air vent pods as such being placed high up on the dashboard. They're not keen on that styling. Personally, I think it's nice. It makes it look interesting. It's maybe a little bit out there compared to what we're used to. It's not such a classical design. They're looking to just inject a bit of character into it, and I for one think it's absolutely works. Now, the other technologies to do with the dashboard are the digital dials, Audi's virtual cockpit. Now, they've been doing these for quite some time. The A3 now gets the treatment. Top spec models will get an even larger 12.3 inch setup as well. So quite a cool thing to have. You can change it depending on which drive mode you're in. And always with Audi, it's that attention to detail with the trim. It looks a very well put together vehicle. There's lots of details there, which is something that our customers, we know, are all going to be looking for. It's that little bit that differentiates it from this quite crowded marketplace. Other items that I noticed, not only the mild hybrid, but you've also got the Matrix LED headlights are on there as well, the digital dash, the new infotainment system. So there's quite a bit of technology there to keep most gadget freaks satisfied. So, James, what about competition for this vehicle?
Well, personally, I don't think it has. Well, it obviously has competition, but I think it's still the top, personally. But the Mark 8 Golf...
Yeah, newly launched on the marketplace.
My opinion is they've ruined the styling. It just looks a bit dull and a bit boring and a bit, very ugly.
So you're not a fan of the Golf. We'll put some pictures up of these later on. Who else in that segment?
Mercedes A-Class. That would be my second choice if the Audi, was extinct. It wasn't around.
If the Audi, okay.
That would be my choice. So that's a firm second place. But still, it's nice. I do like it. But it's just missing something.
Okay.
I don't know what, but it's just got a gap.
It's okay, but it's not quite hitting the mark for you like the Audi does.
Yeah.
And in this segment, of course, we cannot ignore the BMW 1 Series. Quite a radical change for the BMW 1 Series. Gone from a rear-wheel drive to a front-wheel drive vehicle now. All the reports say that this is still the driver's car. Even though they've changed to front-wheel drive, still gives you that feedback that you want, so it's the best one to drive. What are your thoughts on that image of the BMW 1 Series?
I don't know where to start. It looks like, from one angle it looks like it's a devious criminal with a huge smile going across its face. From another side it looks alright.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just... Yes, it's a good car to drive, but would I be able to wake up to that in the morning, look out my window and say, yes, I've done the right thing and I haven't bought that Audi, I've bought the BMW. No, I wouldn't.
No. Okay, so BMW 1 Series, like a few of the other BMWs at the moment, the styling remains a little bit divisive. Now, the new one does look a little bit generic, doesn't look too far removed from my Ford Focus, which is a 2019 current shape Ford Focus. The proportions are very similar. I would have to kind of, looking at those options, agree with you to a point that I would also go with the Audi A3 Sportback in this particular group. I would have that at the top. I would also go the A-Class. The Golf for me would just pip the BMW 1 Series. The Golf is very predictable. I prefer the previous generation Golf just on looks. I know they've done a lot with interior and technology, but just from looks, that would just pip it. And the BMW, based on I'm not keen on the way that vehicle looks, would unfortunately come last for that, even though it's probably the best one to drive of all of them. If we're looking at some of the other contenders that may not be the typical ones that you would choose within this, if styling is your preference, have a look out at the Mazda 3. Also the new Seat Leon. It's based on the same platform as the new Golf and of the A3, and we will be touching on the Seat Leon later on in this series. It is a serious contender in the family hatchback marketplace right now. Okay, James, so final words then on the Audi A3 from you.
Well, best car out of this group.
Best car out of this group.
Mm-hmm.
Can't say fairer than that. Okay, well, thank you all for watching this episode all about the new Audi A3. We hope you've enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell your friends. We're still here on lockdown. I'm still on furlough, so as long as that carries on, we will still be bringing you episodes on a fairly regular basis. So look out for more of our videos and feel free to check back on Series 1 and Series 2. From us for now, is goodbye.